Yo, what is up, guys? It's Cone, back here again tonight with another episode of After the Buzzer. For the first time in After the Buzzer history, I'm telling you that the Milwaukee Bucks, and for the first time in like 40 years, the Milwaukee Bucks have won an NBA Finals game, 120-100, picking up a win on their home court to make the series 2-1. Of course, it was a must-win for the Milwaukee Bucks because no team has ever come back from down 3-0 in an NBA Finals. It just doesn't happen. And so the Bucks needed to win this one, not only to stop the Suns from going up 3-0, but to give themselves some kind of momentum. All momentum is dead if you go down 0-3, and that was exactly what the Bucks did tonight. They won this game, and they did it in a fashion that we kind of saw last game, where Giannis Antetokounmpo was by far the best player on the court, and kind of showing he's got a case for the best player in the league. We'll talk about that in a second. I'm sure most of you clicked on this video that you want to rip my head off because I said that Giannis has a case for it, but we'll talk about that in a second. But all around, just the Bucks, so many times this season, and especially in these playoffs, have just disappointed me. They have so much ridiculous potential, and I've said this in past videos talking about the Bucks. They are a mystery to me because some games they look like this, and Giannis is one of the best players, if not the best player on the planet. Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday step up in the roles that they're supposed to, and they get good production from their role players, and they made the Suns look like, for the second half, like they didn't even belong in the NBA Finals. And this is a Suns team that has dominated as of recently, and in the last couple games has looked just like by far the superior team. So I don't know where these Bucks have been, because other games they show that, or they look like a team that would hardly sneak into the playoffs some nights, or they've just got no idea what they're doing. They have all this talent. They've just got to maximize it, and that's what they did tonight. When the Bucks are on the top of their game, they are, as they have a shot to be, NBA champions. But when they're not on their game, we've seen what happens. So finally, the Bucks figured out maybe this is something. I've said this like 30 times before, that maybe this is the game the Bucks have figured things out. But I guess they're in the finals, so something has to be somewhat working. Like I said, Giannis was the guy in this game, as he was last game, 41, 13, and 6. Very similar to the performance he had last game, back-to-back 40 and 10 games. I think he's only the third player ever to do it, if I recall correctly. I think the other two are like LeBron and Shaq or something like that. Once again, if the stats are wrong, someone will correct me in the comment section below. But what you basically need to know is Giannis is having a historic finals, and this is his first finals ever. Giannis has never played on this stage before. He's made it to Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals and been knocked out, and so to have this type of production is incredible. And for a guy that's a two-time MVP, a Defensive Player of the Year this year, an All-Defensive player, and now the best player by far in an NBA Finals, is there an argument to say that Giannis is the best in the world? And I think there is one. I personally don't know if I put him there just quite yet. Maybe if he wins the finals, I'll consider it, but I'm just always hesitant to move guys like LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Kawhi, guys like that who I've seen win finals before and be the best player on their team while doing it. But Giannis he's 3 wins away. I mean, they're still down 2-1. They're not going to win this finals guaranteed or anything like that. But Giannis has been unbelievable. A top 5, top 3, whatever, defensive player in the league, a dominant paint force. He's even showing flashes of fixing his free throw problems. I don't know what it is, but Giannis's free throw routine has just continued to look more and more succinct and more relaxed, calm, and consistent. Sometimes in the past, Giannis would be kind of out of control in some of his free throws. It looked like he didn't have much of a technique or a rhythm. He's kind of seemed to have fallen into something like that. He's taking less outside shots, which I think is fine for him. He should be able to hit those every now and again, but he's starting to settle a lot less for those outside jumpers, and it's really helping him out. He's able to hit mid-ranges. Like I said, you've seen it before. He's dominant in the paint. He's a good playmaker. He's a great rebounder. Giannis is such a force, even without a great three-point shot. Imagine if Giannis had like a great 3-ball. The league might just have to cancel, because I don't know if anyone can step up to him at that point. Giannis is really good. And in these finals, he's making a case for best in the world. Like I said, this isn't a title that I'm giving him right now. This isn't a title that I've decided he should have, but he's got a case. And the way that he's performing in these finals, I don't think it's reactionary to say that that's the case. He's a 2-time MVP, a Defensive Player of the Year for a reason, and after last year's disappointing performance, Giannis has come back in such a big way, and outside of like this game, just hasn't been getting a lot of help in these finals so far, so it's cool to see him step up, and this is all for a guy whose knee inverted like a week and a half ago. That's ridiculous. It's just it's just unfair how good he is sometimes. If you're one of those people that still thinks he's untalented or that he's 100% top 5, by the way, I don't even think that's something that you can debate at this point. So if you want to debate it, debate in the comment section below with other people, because I'm not going to debate you on it. I think it's clear that Giannis is top 5. I tweeted this out middle of the game. I just impulsively bought a Giannis shirt. So if the Bucks win the finals, or maybe if they win a game down the line, whenever it gets here, I think it's supposed to get here in like 4 or 5 days, maybe you'll see that Giannis shirt debut in an After the Buzzer game or video when the Bucks win another game. All this to say, Giannis is great. Great game from Chris Middleton, Andrew Holiday as well, the two guys who are supposed to be Giannis's co-stars. 18, 7, and 6 from Chris Middleton. He doesn't have to put up a ton of points if Giannis is going to score 41. He's just got to be consistent and at least somewhat efficient, and that's what he was tonight. And Drew Holiday, the best game we've seen from him since those Eastern Conference Finals ended, and one of the best games he's had all season. Just considering the stage that he's on and how disappointing he's been in the past, Drew Holiday hit 4 threes in like a quarter in this game. And we've seen Drew Holiday have like 7 for 23 type performances as of recent in the playoffs. This is the Drew they need. Like I said in the past video when talking about how Giannis needed help, for some reason, when Giannis is on the court, Drew Holiday just can't seem to figure out what to do. And something clicked tonight. I don't know if they were doing something differently between the two of them, if they just came to a mutual understanding like, this is what I need, this is what you need to do. Whatever it was, it worked. Drew made the open looks that they were giving him. He played phenomenal defense that led to this crazy, like Showtime Bucks type performance or possession at one point in this game in transition. Also, real quick shout out to Cam Johnson for dunking on PJ Tucker. That was amazing. While I remember that happened. This is the Bucks we should see. This is the Bucks we're going to need to see if the Bucks want to come back in this series. And a lot of people were acting like the series was done. Like we hadn't seen, for example, a team like the Clippers come back from down 0-2 twice in the same playoffs this year. Down 0-2 is not a death sentence. And especially when you're down 0-2 going home, there's plenty of time in this series. And if the Bucks play like this again, I think this is going to go back to Phoenix tied up. And if that's the case, things get very, very interesting. As for the Suns, really disappointing game from most people other than like a Chris Paul. Chris Paul 19-9, solid game from him. DeAndre Ayton was good when he was able to play, but the Bucks, one of the best thing the Bucks did in this entire game was force the ball at DeAndre Ayton and get him in foul trouble. DeAndre Ayton is a great defender, super smart and super athletic, so he's normally able to defend shots very well without fouling, but the Bucks just kind of kept attacking, crashed the glass, and found way to get him in foul trouble. And when he's off the court, the backup center for this Suns team is Frank Kaminsky. And shout out Frank the Tank, Wisconsin legend, but he's no DeAndre Ayton. And if you have Giannis going at Frank Kaminsky in the paint rather than a DeAndre Ayton, that's a huge win for this Bucks team. Without Dario Saric, they need Frank Kaminsky to step up, as well as like a Cam Johnson to sometimes play some small ball 5, but they should try and limit that. And the best way to limit that is keeping DeAndre Ayton on the court, and the Bucks did a great job of forcing him off. That's something they need to do more going forward. They've got to find ways to take DeAndre Ayton out of the equation, because in the first quarter, he had like 6 buckets. I think he was like 6 of 7 to start the game with like 16 points, and he ended up with 18. They took him out of the game in a phenomenal way in the second half. They've got to keep doing that going forward. Jay Crowder was really good. He's the other guy who had a pretty good game. Devin Booker has been really disappointing overall in these finals. He had a great game the other day, dropping over 30, but outside of that, he's just not been the same player that we saw for the first 2.5 rounds. It feels like really ever since the end of the Western Conference Finals, he just hasn't been quite the same. I'm sure he's going to find his rhythm. Like I said, he's a really good player, and he's trying to figure out against a really good defensive Milwaukee Bucks team that is throwing a ton of different great defensive players at him, whether it's Drew Holiday, sometimes Giannis, whether it's PJ Tucker. This team has a lot of great defensive players. So Devin Booker's kind of just trying to figure things out, and I think he is going to get into a rhythm at some point, but the Suns need it to be soon. Because you need to try and take this next game. You can go back 2-2 and still win the finals fine, but you don't want to give the Bucks all of this momentum, even if you are going back to Phoenix. The Suns need to do whatever they can to get up 3-1 going into this game 4, and I think Devin Booker's the key to that. DeAndre Ayton's been really good when he's able to be on the court. Chris Paul's been phenomenal. Devin Booker's gotta be better, and I think he will be. He's a player that's good enough to have a couple of bad games and completely flip the switch and drop 40 to 50 next game. I'm sure we'll see great things from Devin Booker, but for right now, shout to the Bucks, and specifically shout out to Giannis. Giannis is a guy that gets a ton of disrespect for really no reason, in my opinion. Giannis is a guy I've harped on this. I'm not going to talk about this again. Giannis is just great. He's humble, great player, and the whole narrative that he's not talented. If you watch him play, you'll see the talent in Giannis Antetokounmpo's game. I'm happy for him, and due to the fact that I bought him a shirt, you probably can assume I'm a big fan of his. Giannis continuously impresses me and has earned more and more of my respect and more of my admiration for him as a player over the course of this series and over the course of this run. He stuck it out in Milwaukee, and as a small market fan, to see a guy like Giannis right now carrying the Bucks through the finals after sticking with a small market team, warms a small market fan's heart. So I appreciate you guys watching this video. Let me know what you think about Giannis. Do you think he has a case for best player in the world, or do you think I'm crazy? Do you think I'm recency biased? Whatever you want to say, drop a comment. Why not? And while you're at it, make sure you subscribe, like the video, and ultimately drop a Giannis is dominant in the comment section below if you made it this far in the video to let me know that you made it to the end. I'll make sure to heart, like, whatever it is, your comments. I appreciate you guys watching this video. I'll see you guys later. Real one, say it back.